Hey, what's going on? Another day, another day. All right, it is Dakota, the Modern Man, and today I had made a post, and um, the funny part about it was the majority of the answers that I was receiving. Um, it was a little, it was a little bit of a surprise, and the question was for all my followers that were following me on Snapchat was list these things in order, and it's dick size, looks, loyalty, personality, and money. Now, I understand men and women think a little differently. A guy, his first thing that's really gonna attract him is the looks, obviously, and that's really gonna hold a lot of weight to him because whether it's a trophy wife or whether it's the woman that he has to live with for the rest of his life, that's someone he wants that's really sexually appealing and attractive, because that's basically his forever, you know. And guys just mentally, it's a looks thing with them. It it's a looks thing. Yes, can you have a great personality? Yes, can you be doing this and that in life and you're getting real successful? Those are good things. But overall, it's that looks that's always going to get him. That's why uh, there's a lot of guys out there that just making these babies because they have just such an attraction to these women. Even the women that ain't shit, they just have such an attraction to them, and it gets them in trouble. No dick discipline. But for moving on with the ladies that were answering this question, a lot of the times the money part was their like 4 or 5 pick, which just blows my mind because I don't know if a female actually took a real like deep dive into finances of dating or finances of a relationship. But when you're dating, for one, it's usually the guy that's making all these plans for going here, going there, whether it's a trip, restaurants, movies, art shows, arcades, uh, just whatever, bars, clubs, all that good stuff, right? All that good entertainment that people like to do in their life. It's usually the guys that are paying for this stuff. It's usually the guys that are driving, paying for that gas, paying for that alcohol, all that different type of stuff, right? That I guess people just take for granted because they're not paying it, which in this case would be the women. And then when I bring it up, saying that money is supposed to, in my view, would matter a lot more than a big dick size or looks, they tell me, oh no, they need to be attracted to them because they got their own money. That is true. You're adults, you have jobs, you have your own money, and you're paying your rent and you're surviving in this world. That is true. But if we're just talking about the long term, or even not even the long term, we'll get to that, but even the short term in terms of being with someone, again, that guy's going to have some type of money to be paying for all these types of events that you want to go to. A guy that's making 25, 30, even 40,000, they cannot responsibly go out every weekend or do big time events that may cost $100 or more every weekend and still save, still have their own bills they have, because you don't know if they're paying rent, you don't know if they have a car note, you don't know what their insurance is like, you don't know if they have any school debt, you don't know if they have 1 or 2 kids, you don't know what's going on with them, but they're paying all their bills responsibly, we're assuming. And then they also have this money to pay extra for all this entertainment for dates, because dates are not cheap. They are not. Now, dates can be cheap, and women also like to play that card that, oh, we don't have to do a lot. Yeah, a date can be cheap like a movie date. You can go to a very low level movie, you can get basic tickets, and it can be about $11 a ticket, right? That's cool. I don't understand how great of a date being in a dark room with someone that it could be a first date. Let's just say it's a second date. So you know this person, you have a great vibe with them and everything, but you're still just sitting in a room with them for about 2.5, 3 hours, not talking, not communicating. Then after that, are you going to spend the rest of the night together? Or are you guys going to go your separate ways? So you didn't even really get to Netflix and chill. Like, you're just in a movie theater, not saying anything because, of course, you don't want to disturb anyone. So, I mean, a movie can be a nice time, but that's usually more reserved for a relationship where the silence between two people is understood. At that point in a relationship, you don't always need to make some type of conversation. You can enjoy doing things either on your own or together in silence because you're already at that phase in a relationship to where you can enjoy those things. In the beginning, the first, second, third date, those are crucial. You need to be doing things that you're going to get to know the person better, need to start having serious conversations with that person. You can't do that in a movie theater. Maybe you can have some small talk leading up to getting into the theater, waiting for the previews to get over with, whatever the case is, but that's usually not a good 1, 2, 3 date. But that is a cheap date. Or they can take you to, I don't know, the park. You can just take a walk in the park. Maybe you guys bring food and have a nice picnic. Yeah, that's cool. How many times has that happened to you guys? When was the last time someone actually planned out a picnic date for you? Not recently. That is not a very common occurrence date. It's just not. There's a lot of these things, whether it's bars, restaurants are usually typical. The good places, they're not cheap either. So I don't know what this common thing that I keep hearing from women is. I have my own money. I don't need him for that. Yes, you do, because women are not expecting to pay for their own dates, are they? No, they're not. And a lot of time they don't even want to pay half. Maybe the first date they'll pay half, but are you seriously expecting to pay half on day number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? No, you're not. But again, that's just the short term. Guys are going to need money for that short term, and especially if they're planning on actively dating. Because when you're actively dating, you can't just pick one female to date and then you're just good for the rest of the year. That one female that you took on that one first date, that might be it. So now you have to find someone else. Take them on a first date. Maybe that doesn't work out. So then you have to find someone else. And this process can keep repeating itself until you finally find someone that you can be consistent with. That's why guys really don't like to date like that. They like to hang out. They don't like to date like that because that date after date after date can be time consuming. It can be financial strain on them, especially those guys that are just on the border of they have some money set aside for entertainment, but it's really not a big portion of their budget. So they can't just keep going date after date after date after date. That's not in their plans. It's not in their budget. It's just, it'd be irresponsible for them to be doing that. Okay, so money matters. Because those looks, even the personality, you can grow to get on somebody, to vibe with somebody. I mean, as long as they're not disrespectful, as long as they're not completely boring, or maybe you just don't have everything in common with them at first, that's all right. You can grow to like and love someone, especially if they're just a decent person. They might not be your typical type, but you can grow. They can grow on you, or you can grow on them, vice versa. Especially if they're a good provider, especially if they're loyal to you. especially if they're giving you a lot of the things that you need from a man, but they just may not be the funniest. They might not be the most romantic man at the time that you met them. They might not give you those instant butterflies that another dude is giving you, so you choose him, even though that's all he has to offer you is those butterflies and a big stick. That's it. Butterflies and a big stick. That goes a long way for females in their minds. They don't care about the money. They don't care about the security. No, they just want the big stick. They want the smiles. They want the laughs. And why is that? I don't get it. And then I keep asking more females, why? Do you not think about the retirement that you plan on having? Because everyone plans on retiring at some point or would like to. No one wants to keep working while they're in their 60s and 70s and 80s. Hell, there's days I don't even want to work right now. I mean, technically I don't have to, but I don't even want to work right now. And I'm only in my 20s, so I can't imagine being old and still working these typical basic jobs where, yeah, you're not really doing that much. You're going in, you're either on some type of computer, let's say it's customer service, or doing some type of admin job, or whatever the case is. But you still don't want to be using your time for that, especially when you're older. You want to be enjoying your years doing whatever. How are you even going to enjoy your years when you're just only having your salary, which let's say is 40, 50,000 a year? And this is all the while you're taking care of yourself and your kids, of course, because you had to get those. You didn't want the dad, but you just had to get the kids, of course, because you need that, and you don't need a man. No woman needs a man. They don't need the father. They just need their sperm. So you're taking care of yourself, your kids, and you're good to go. You got a job, and you're just going to retire, and everything's going to be great once you retire because apparently you done saved enough because you had such a great job at $50K. So you don't need a man. That extra income that could have doubled yours. So instead of that $50K, it could have been $100K for 20 years. So y'all could have planned, y'all could have saved. Now y'all could have went on trips. But no, you don't need that, which is technically right. You don't need that. But is that really what you want? Just making it check to check until you retire and then realize, oh, I have to get another maybe low job. Maybe I'll be working the cashier at Walmart or something because that Social Security that you might get, that little retirement check that you might get, it's not going to be enough. Yeah, your house should be already paid for if you have a house, but it's still not going to be enough. But these are things that don't really matter to the younger women. I'll even say 30 below, 35 below. It's not until around that time where they get in that phase where they're definitely not going to have any more kids. And then they definitely realize, okay, I also don't want to be alone. So it's that kind of that gray area where they're getting in their 30s and they're like, maybe one more won't hurt. And then they finally reach the point where they're like, yeah, I'm done having kids. I'm tapped out. And then it's at that point where it's like, oh, I don't want to be alone. But while they're young, of course they're not thinking that way. They're cute. They have their youth. They're either in school and they think whatever degree they're going to get, they're just going to get this great job and everything's going to be great. Or they're in school, but they have this other job as well. And they're thinking, yeah, this degree is going to save them and going to just give them this good type of wealth that's going to get them and their kids from middle class, the upper middle class, and they're just going to be living great. They don't need the man. They don't need the father. So, yeah, it was just really surprising watching those questions and results, and I'm just trying to make sense of it while I'm asking them why money doesn't matter. And it's always, I don't need a man to do nothing for me. I got my own money. It's not a bad thing to want a man because he has financial stability. It's not even bad to want a man because you feel like he can be a good partner to you. Some guys do just want a partner. Some guys don't. Some guys want to be the higher person in a relationship, and the female is the lower person. Can they contribute to the family and the household? Of course they can, but they don't want to be actual partners 50-50. But then there's other dudes, they do want to be partners 50-50. They feel like they do work hard, but maybe they're not these high earners of $100,000, $80,000 or whatever. So they work really hard, and they want that hard work to be matched by somebody so they can live a great life. Because some guys work really hard to get that $50,000, and that's great. And they want a female who works hard as well so they can contribute either equal to or somewhat close to what they're getting, what they're contributing to the household. And it's okay for a female to feel that same way and want that partnership. That's cool. But don't just say, I don't need a man to do nothing for me. I got my own money. That's not, I don't know where you learn that from, but it's really not a good mindset to have long term. And it doesn't sound bad. Now, if you're coming at a man and saying, I need him to take care of me, I need this and that and that, well, I hope you're ready for the lifestyle of that. Because if you're not physically fit, if you're not cooperative, if you're not ready to share that man, because you will be sharing. If he's 30, making 6 figures, he has it all, and he can give you a car, he can let you stay in his house, all that stuff, and you think he's only gonna have eyes on you while he's entering his prime of his looks, and you're just gonna trip every time you even suspect that he might look at another woman, don't even try to fill your head up with the idea that you're gonna get that man, because you're not. You might get his attention. Hell, you might even get a baby out of him if he's reckless enough. But you think you're just gonna make him exclusive to you? No, that's not happening. It's not happening. But yeah, I was just confused on why money doesn't matter to women, or at least why they say it doesn't matter. But you can like, subscribe, tell me why it matters, give me some insight. It's cool, you know. I'm just interested in the answers. That's it.